Hi, I am directing Sun Kai, year 2002 BIB student. In this video, I will share my understanding of web service through a project I have developed called My Translator. This project demonstrates how web service can be used to translate simple words between English and Malay using SOAP-based communication. A web service is a software system designed to support interoperable machine-to-machine interaction over a network. In simple terms, it allows different applications, maybe running on different platforms, to talk to each other and exchange data. There are two major types of web service: SOAP and REST. For this project, I use SOAP, which stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP is a protocol that uses XML for sending messages. It's strictly structured, which means both the sender and receiver must follow a specific format. It relies on another file called WSDL, the Web Service Description Language, to describe how the service works. In contrast, REST is an architectural style that's more lightweight. It uses standard HTTP methods and does not need XML or WSDL, which makes it easier for modern web apps. The project I created in Apache NetBeans is called My Translator. It's a SOAP-based web service that includes a method called translate. The purpose of translate is to take in three parameters, which is the original language, the new language, and the word that needs to be translated. Then the output will return the translated word. To achieve this, I use a hash data structure in Java. This allows me to store key values pairs for transactions. Here's how the method works. If the original language is Malay and the new language is English, we search in the Malay to English map. For example, "Hi" becomes "Hi", "Bye" becomes "Good". For the next, if the original language is English and the new language is Malay, we search in the English to Malay map. For example, "Hi" becomes "Hi", "Good" becomes "Bye". So if a match is found, we return the translated word. If not, we return a default message, translation not found. WSDL stands for Web Service Description Language. It is an XML-based document that describes the functionality offered by the web service. So, why do we need a WSDL file? Because it acts like a contract between the client and the server. It tells the client what operations are available, what parameters need to be sent, and what kind of response to expect. Let me break down the key parts of a WSDL file using the one for my translator. Firstly, message defines the input and output message like parameters and returns value. Port type describes the methods the service exposes. In my case is translate. Binding describes how the service will be accessed, protocols and data format. Here, it uses SOAP if document stub. Service provides the endpoint URL, which tells where the service can be accessed on the network. How can we match SOAP in WSDL? Let us take some WSDL part and SOAP message parts as examples. Firstly, let us explain WSDL file by the element. Operation name equal to translate defines a specific web service function. In this case, it translate. This is the operation clients can call when using the web service. For the input tag, WSAM action is the URI that identifies the action for this operation. It tells the client what action is being performed. For example, when sending a request, it refers to the translate request action. Message equal to TNS translate tells the service to expect a message structure defined elsewhere in the WSDL with the name translate. For the output tab, WSAM action is the URI that identifies the action where the server sends a response. This is the response message for the operation. Message equal to TNS translate response refers to the output message that will be returned by the translate operation. It is defined in the message section of the WSDL. Once I deploy the service, I tested it using SoapUI. Here's how the request and response work. This request sends the parameters: original language, which is Malay, new language, which is English, and the word is "Hi". Then the response comes back with the translated word "Hi". Now let's relate the SOAP message to the WSDL elements. With the blue color border, operation name equal to translate in WSDL match the multi-translate in SOAP. With the little color border, ORL, new L, and word in the SOAP request correspond to the input parameters defined in the schema linked in the WSDL. With the green color border, return element in the SOAP response represent the string output defined in the message part of the WSDL. So, the WSDL defines how the message should look, and SOAP delivers it in the proper format. In conclusion, building this project gave me hands-on experience with SOAP-based web service (WSDL) and testing using SoapUI. I now have a much better understanding of how services communicate across networks, and how important it is to have a clear contract between the client and server, which is what WSDL provides. Thank you for watching my description of my transistor and my journey to web service.